So let me introduce our moderator, Andy Hoyne from an unbelievable law firm, Polsinelli. Ryan Rakestraw from Monsanto Growth Ventures, and also was extremely helpful in making this happen. So afterwards, let's make sure we give a warm welcome. Next, down at the far end, we have Michelle Myers with Cultivation Capital. And then we have Dennis Milton from the SBA. Rumor has it that they do loan money. And Lex, a guy who I worked with last year. Unfortunately, it was a deal we couldn't get done. We were trying to buy some food technology from Homeland Security and a university. But unfortunately, it didn't work. Bob Calacatera has forgotten more about deals than most of us will ever know put together. So welcome to our panel. Give them a warm welcome, and then Andy's going to kick it off.
Well, thank you. Welcome, everybody. We're excited to be here. Our topic is funding, M&A, and exits, and we could probably spend 2 weeks or at least a couple days on this, so we're not going to cover all of those topics. We're primarily going to cover funding, because you can't get to an exit or an M&A unless you get some funding along the way. I am going to point out just one tidbit of information with regard to mergers and acquisitions. New over the last year or two or three, as opposed to years ago, a lot more regulatory considerations for disruptive businesses. So think Uber, and whether you can get a taxi cab license, that sort of stuff. Any kind of disruptive business, that's something you need to factor in on. And the biggest issue in almost every business now is data security and privacy. So we're going to talk about money. A couple of tidbits of information on this. Money is hard to find. I'm not saying anything, but if someone says, "Hey, I think I can get a lot for you," just be careful about that. Virtually all decisions which you make as a company putting together are going to you have to look at the filter. How will this affect how I raise money? How will this affect how I raise money? So look at the name you have, state of incorporation, corporate entity that's formed. How will it affect raising money? And remember, when you're raising money, that you're raising money as an investment opportunity, not as a science project. And so that's sometimes founders of companies, especially the scientific people, get confused and they start talking about how great the science is, all this, that, and the other. It's important, of course, but you really want to talk about an investment opportunity. Here's how I approach stuff, and then we're going to go over the panel and you can kind of look at this. I basically ask myself 6 questions. Number 1 is, what's the problem? What's the problem this investment opportunity is trying to solve? Is it a big problem, little problem, important problem, whatever? What's the problem? What's the solution that the investment opportunity is trying to address? Is that solution just another Me Too, or is it really something that's very incremental, adds a lot of value to the whole process? Third is, what's the timeline to go from having a problem to the solution is in effect? And then the next point to think about is, what's the team that's being assembled or going to be assembled to implement that timeline to get to the solution? And then at the end of the day, how will the investors get out? And then, as Tom talked about, is the investment opportunity attractive? But if you look, so we had just one more example. We had a phone call today with some company. We're struggling to raise money. They're a very good company. They got a lot going. But we start pushing the CEO as to what's going on. Well, she said, yeah, some of the investors are saying our team is too lean. So we've saved a lot of money by not having a big team, but the investors are saying it's going to be a big round. We're going to do a lot. We need a much bigger team than this. So it's a team issue. Also, some of the investors are saying, gee, if you could do what you're planning to do in 4 years, in 3 years, then maybe that would be more attractive. So it's a timeline, not what's involved, how long it's going to take, how realistic is it to implement that stuff.